Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, he's an alien, he's a legal alien, he's also my co-host, it's Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, good evening everybody, welcome one and all.
Welcome back to another episode of the show.
Yeah.
Thank you new listeners and repeat offenders for joining us.
Keep that repeating.
We've been a bit sporadic with the episodes recently, but it is actually 180 episode 180. Can you believe it? Or can we believe that we've come this far?
I know, it's nearly exactly 4 years.
It is actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're almost heading into season 5 of the Never a Straight Answer podcast.
Oh yes.
Something to look forward to, is it?
Yeah.
Can't wait. 5th season.
Yeah.
Is that what did you just say, the last season?
No.
All right. Okay.
No, last season was
this season.
Yeah.
Who knows? Well, it's a good show.
It is.
We're talking always. Aliens this week. We're talking UFOs.
Yes. Close to home as well.
Actually, yeah, from Yorkshire.
Yeah.
This week we're going to be talking about fragments of a mysterious object dubbed Britain's answer to the Roswell crash. They were unearthed from on the moors. But then hidden away for decades.
Yeah, went missing for quite a while, and we got the history of where it disappeared to.
Yeah, well, we're going to be talking a bit more about it a bit later on.
We will.
It's a good story, to be honest, because it's got intrigue, it's got mysterious, hieroglyphics,
and it's got
all sorts. Yeah.
Future stuff to it, hopefully, as well.
Mate.
It's been found.
Talking about future stuff, you've got a really interesting story coming up in the news as well, which I just went, what?
Yes.
When you told me about it. So, yeah, again, we'll stick around for the news. We've got a lot coming up.
We have indeed.
Yes. So, like I say, that's all coming up shortly in the show, plus this week's random world events in the world news. So, stick around. It's got a lot going on. But first, do you think, obviously... we're going to be talking about this. Is it Silpho? How do you say it? Silpho or
Silpho?
Right. So Silpho Moor, in Scarborough, West Yorkshire, or Yorkshire. They say it could be a hoax. Yeah, right. So it did get a lot of people interested, and there was a lot of intrigue. Whether it was real or a hoax. Do you think you, Mr. Taylor, could fabricate a convincing UFO hoax?
To be honest, I've never thought about it because I wouldn't want to.
Well, no, but if you had to,
if I had to,
do you think you could fabricate something that was pretty convincing that people wouldn't really think, oh, that's fake?
If I really wanted to do it, yeah, possibly.
With your knowledge and your background on, the 30 years in the industry, investigating UFOs, do you think you could probably do it?
Yeah, I think so until new technology comes in and
Because this is it, with this one being a suspected hoax.
Yeah.
Finding a ship of some description. We're going to be talking a bit more about it in a bit, but
we are.
I just thought I'd ask you, do you think you could whip up something that was potentially convincing?
Well, it depends how many people you want me to convince. Because there will be
I want people to be like, wow, he's found a UFO.
Well, yeah, I think if I had the time and I had the money, well, I don't think it'd be a problem, to be honest.
Well, we actually saw it. We went to visit a fabricated UFO, a UFO on a mountain top, a hillside.
Yes,
if you want, and it was nice, wasn't it? And it wasn't
windy.
It wasn't
nice.
Roswell.
No,
but it was Rosendale.
Yeah, close enough to me.
Yeah, close enough. And basically, if you've not seen the photos on Instagram we posted, there's a UFO on the hillside of Rosendale, and it's called the Halo. Yeah, and you can visit it. It's just there as a tourist attraction.
Yeah, there was a few people there.
There was quite a few people there, wasn't it? And it's nice just during the day.
Yeah.
And they've got some great views of the Rosendale town.
Yeah, sunset was lovely.
The sunset
was
beautiful up there.
Yeah.
And also, it lights up at night.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So sensors set it off at night, and then basically when it gets to dusk, the lights come on the UFO.
Yeah,
and it's
through the night it changes.
Apparently the bulbs they use are so kind of low energy that they're really, really quite kind of sustainable. They don't kind of burn out very often. They use LEDs, and they're also powered by a wind turbine, which is just on the site as well.
It's a noisy little bugger, but
but I mean, it's like it means that's not kind of reliant on any sort of power source. It's self-sufficient, if you like. So I like that about it. But it was quite nice to go up and check it out.
It was.
Recommend it if you're in the area of Rosendale Halo.
Or just Google it
if you can't get there.
There was another one we were looking at that was we thought that was round there, and it
the Panopticon.
It
must be around that area somewhere, but we couldn't find it.
But no.
Also, it's been the Jubilee weekend this weekend, so congratulations for 70 years on the throne, Your Majesty.
Yeah. She only needs another 3 to get.
Well, it kind of got me thinking because I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of stuff on the news, and the BBC and the other channels kind of been, talking about the Jubilee quite a lot. But there's obviously a lot of people who aren't royalists. You don't really care about the Jubilee.
Well, actually, last year they did a study, and it turned out something like 73% of Britons actually enjoyed the royals, but then they did one this year, and it turned out to be something like 63. So it's dropping.
Yeah, there is a drop. But I mean, if you think about you've got people who are just indifferent to people. I mean, there's been a lot of scandals around the royals as well, which has kind of dropped people's opinions. God love the Queen. I mean, the Queen's never really put a foot wrong, really, in a lot of ways. But
great lady, man.
But in the respect of not being a royalist, there's quite a lot of people who kind of don't really even want a monarchy.
Well, if the Queen wasn't there, I think a lot more people would not be into the royals at all, especially the way.
Well, do you think that might be the way it's going? Could we have a president in this country, an elected president as the head of state rather than a monarchy in the future? Is that the way we're going? That's the question I'm asking.
I wouldn't like to see it, and the reason why is because we've had the royals for such a long time, and we're well known for the royals. So
I mean, as an institution, the royals bring in a lot of tourism. They're very kind of it's historical. Having that monarchy. I understand the reasons the Commonwealth behind having the monarchy there. And like you say, the Commonwealth and a lot of that sort of stuff. But it's you're finding that even with the Commonwealth, when these royal visits and people are going over, you've just seen Prince William and Kate go over to Jamaica, and there was a big, hoo-ha about, them coming over because they don't want to be a part of the Commonwealth anymore. They want to be a republic.
The republic now.
So
they've signed the papers.
So they've done that now. But during that visit, there was protests. So I mean,
that's true. But then again, would you want someone like Boris Johnson running the country, or would you? I mean, she doesn't really run the country. It's only thankful for the Magna Cartas and the contracts that they've done from
well, this is what I'm saying, because once the Queen actually kind of eventually leaves,
we nearly lost it.
Leaves Buckingham Palace, or it's passed on. Are a lot of the things that are put in place now just out of duty to the Queen, out of principle, because that's the way it's always been done.
Contract law.
Now, say if the Queen's out of the picture, does that mean that they don't have to I know, but I mean, will things change in a lot of ways, because they kept those policies in, they kept those sort of how can you say it, more procedures, or sort as a nicety, as a sort of a the Queen expects it, so we should do it. Sort of thing.
But it was the agreement, wasn't it, through the Magna Carta, that you set that we have, the people have a bunch of people who actually talk on our behalf and build up the laws and that, and she can't have, or any of the others can have, anything to do with politics.
Supreme power.
But she still, at any point, can turn around and go, "That's mine. I'm bringing it back. I'm doing this. I'm doing that." She still holds the power to actually just go. She's still our
head
chief.
of state, isn't it? Yeah. So
yeah,
like,
but
you know.
if we would have stayed with Europe, she would have lost it anyway. So in a way, like getting out of Europe keeps her on her throne.
Well, yeah, there you
for
go.
the
Well,
listening
there you go. Well, anyway, congratulations for 70 years.
Yeah, hopefully
it's a big achievement.
Hopefully,
they made
she's
it.
gonna.
They're like, we made it.
Yes. Well, yeah, I'm just hoping she makes it for like
Another 70.
No, at least another 3. Then she breaks a world record for the world longest monarch.
Why? Who's?
French. I think it was it Louis II, something like that. He's 72 years.
Oh
He's
well,
sat on
she's
the
gonna
throne.
smash that, isn't she?
I hope so.
Hope so.
Yeah, but she's looking a bit more frail, and she's not going to a lot more
I know she
things
keeps
at the
putting
moment
off
as well.
stuff, doesn't she? At the moment, she keeps ringing in
Not
sick.
that well. Yeah.
Yeah, she can't come in today. She's putting on a sick voice.
I'm going badminton
I
with.
can't come in today.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a bit poorly.
Yeah.
She might have that long COVID, though. So, I
Well,
know she did have COVID.
Yeah, she did have it.
I mean, I'm not saying that is the case, but,
we're going to enjoy her while she's here. Because, she ain't going to last that long.
Come on, let's go go-karting
Let's
with the Queen.
Yeah,
Quick, come on.
yeah.
We're not going to have all day. We're not going to have forever.
I wonder what she's going to say on the deathbed. That'd be an interesting...
That's a bit morbid.
Well, no, because,
I've actually got a book. I've actually got a book of famous last words. I'll have to dig it out because it's actually got some really quite interesting ones, and some of them are kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
but some of them are quite funny.
Because don't forget, some of the royals ain't going to be there. They've been told you're sitting in the background while we get on with the festivals because you've been naughty people.
Well, this is what I liked about the Queen Mum.
Yeah.
I love she just said what she wanted to say, but then, when she died, she was like, "I fucking run up all this debt. Fuck you."
yeah.
In a bit.
Yeah. I love the Queen.
Well,
Mum,
yeah. So, it's been an interesting week for the royals.
It has, and it's not over.
Well, this is it. It's actually yesterday was officially the Jubilee, wasn't it? Friday.
Today?
Is it today? No,
Yeah.
I keep saying this because it was like
Saturday.
somebody told me this was on Thursday. Then I was like, no, it's happening
that was
Friday.
the bank holiday, wasn't it? They changed.
Well,
the
no, they
bank
did the
holiday.
colours, the colour march,
Yeah.
and all the rest of it.
Colour
So
of
I
the
would have
truth,
thought
yeah.
that would have been the day.
No, it's today.
fuck's sake.
Outside Buckingham Palace and all that. Yeah, doing all the business,
the bands and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
Tea
it
with the
should
Queen.
be over now. I would imagine.
Right, okay, well, we
This time
should
of
be
morning.
over now.
Yeah,
Right, let's hope.
Should be. Yeah, and
Fucking
there's no alarms of anything
bunting
wrong
everywhere.
going, so it must have gone at a great party.
Right, well, have you been up to anything other than celebrating? We've not really done much celebrating, to be fair, have we? We went to see the UFO yesterday.
Yeah.
I went for a bike ride on Thursday.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've not been working.
Yeah. And I'm going to be working for some more celebrations that are coming up for the Jubilee.
The Jubilee.
The Jubilee.
Well,
oh, yeah.
I mean, I know it said that, people should be watching out for TV starting this week. And, oh, my God, it's been an absolute blinder of a week for TV.
Yeah.
I say TV, it's all apps now, isn't it? You get it on an app.
True.
Right?
True.
But 7 episodes of Stranger Things.
Last one, I believe, as well.
Is it the last series?
Yeah, it's the last series. Series 5, isn't it?
It's been series 4, this.
Is it?
Yeah, so they might be doing another series. Potentially.
Yeah, because I saw a report yesterday, actually, and they were saying this is going to be the last one, and I'm sure it was series 5, so we might have
Well,
another
Stranger
one coming
Things. Yeah, we're on series 4. We've got another
Right.
couple of episodes, which Netflix, like I said, they're going to be releasing on the 1st of July, 5 weeks after the release, which was the 27th of May.
Right.
It's definitely worth a watch. I think the progression of the characters, the progression of the monster.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've got to go and
You need to
watch
watch
it from the
Stranger
beginning.
Things.
Yeah.
If you like 80s horror movies and like
not really
sort
a horror
of
movie
sci-fis
fan.
and
Kind
stuff
of
like
funny.
that, then you'll really, really get into this. Obi-Wan Kenobi started on Disney.
Yeah.
I've got to say, so good.
Is it a series,
It's
then?
a series. It's got all the original cast from the prequels, like Phantom Menace, and that series of Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm not going to spoil it, but the episode 3 blew me away. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was just, like, amazing.
Okay.
It is definitely the best thing they've done, Star Wars-wise, since Rogue One. Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, yeah, it's way better than The Mandalorian. It smokes, it smokes Boba Fett.
Okay.
I mean, this is for a Star Wars fan, this is a great show. Go and check it out. Yeah.
See, they should have put it as a movie, man.
As well, I mean, we're spoiled.
We are
spoiled. The Boys as well started this week.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that was so good for the first 3 episodes which has been released on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, and some people have been long and waiting for the new Top Gun movie that just come out, Maverick. Which I had a little watch of it yesterday, and I thought it was all right, you know.
Do you think? But is it not just a big recruitment video for kids? Come and join the fucking RAF. Come and join the you know, what do they call it? The Air Force.
Yeah. Well, no, he was Navy, wasn't he? Yeah.
Was he Navy?
Force. Yeah. Navy Force. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I forget they have like F1s and planes on the back of like aircraft hangars, don't they? I mean, I suppose. I always thought that they were just like pilots, but you know,
they only had basic Navy training, but they wouldn't have had, you know, how to steer this boat doing this.
Right, okay. And is Maverick not like a test pilot?
Yes, and a beautiful machine he tested at the beginning. But yeah, it goes like the original basically. But
can I ask? Because this is, I mean, I don't want you to spoil the movie for people. Because I mean, like, right? I mean, people seem to love Top Gun.
Yeah,
it wasn't for me. Right? Yeah. It was. I mean, can I ask? Was there any volleyball?
Yes.
Right,
yes.
Sticking true
we
to
gotta
the
have
original.
Teamwork, you know what I mean? It makes the dream work.
Makes the dream work.
That's
indeed, it does.
And I love the line that he puts actually, because he sort of nearly gets in trouble for that. So yeah, it's I've seen like half of it, but like the mission that is supposed to be going on as well. I thought it was really good on that.
There you go. Well, there's a pretty good recommendation.
4 out of 10. 4 out of 5. Sorry.
4 out of. I was going to say 4 out of 10's pretty weak, I'd say, but Obi-Wan Kenobi got like 100 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Was it? Sounds like a 5 out of 5.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
100 out of 100 on Rotten Tomatoes.
So what's making it? Well, then you can't really say, can you? Because what made it so special?
You've just got to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just something else. Check it out.
Yeah,
moving on. Otherwise, we'll just be here all night. Yeah. So, check out Red Wall Radio from 8 p.m. on Thursday. Where our show is going to be.
We're on there.
We're on there. We're going to broadcast on there. They're also a great radio station where you can check out a lot of great music.
Yeah.
Interesting voices. And it's worldwide, so no matter where you are listening from in the world, you can check it out. That's Red Wall Radio. Tell them the Never a Straight Answer Boys sent you.
Yeah. Give them a review, check them out, see what they're like.
Yeah. In fact, if you fancy giving us a review, we've not had a review for
ages. Haven't. No, that is true. Yeah. Tell us what you think about us. Yeah.
I did actually get a comment on YouTube.
Oh, right.
And saying like thanks for the episode a couple of weeks ago.
All right.
And I said, if there's anything that we can change or anything that will, you're
part of the system.
Exactly. You're all part of it. We want to know what you guys want to make the show better.
Yeah.
And you said, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, yeah, that's like a sort of answer your mum would give you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you want some proper feedback. So, but I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But like but if anybody out there does feel like we could add or do something different, let us know. I mean, we'll take it on board. We might not do it.
No, but suggestions are always welcome.
There you go.
Yeah. We know we're not perfect, but we're trying to get there. Well, and we couldn't do this without you lot out there listening to us.
Yeah.
See, we both agree on that.
I concur,
Captain.
Yes. So, this week's episode will be brought to you in part by Audible.
Yeah.
Audible is a trial offer and a great way for new customers to try audiobooks and make the most of every moment.
Why not?
With their trial, a customer will receive one free audiobook of their choice to keep, even if they cancel.
Nice.
Prime customers will receive 2 audiobooks in their trial.
Great.
The ability to choose from a world's largest selection of audiobooks, including bestsellers, new releases, sci-fis, romances, mysteries, classics, and more.
Worldwide.
It's amazing. After 30 days, you'll receive 1 book every month, which is worth $7.99 because that's how much you're paying.
That's right.
And it's an automatic renewal, but you can cancel anytime. It's easy to do so. And it gives you the ability to download and listen to the world's best storytelling, enjoy audiobooks, original series, and much more. Podcasts, we're on there.
Yes, and any languages that you can think of as well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty damn sure that they've got a massive list.
And as well, they do have all that calming stuff, do you know, like kind of ambient music and stuff. So like if you have trouble getting to sleep, they have all sorts. So whatever you're kind of looking for in an audible capacity, Audible's got it exactly. It's a great way to unwind and transform the moment in the touch of your phone.
Your phone pad.
You can listen to your favourite genres, including bestsellers, latest releases, fantasy, sci-fi, and a lot more besides. So check out Audible. There'll be a link in the description.
It will.
With a potential, I don't know, there might be a code. Who knows? Just a link, probably.
Yeah. Well, go to the link and tell us.
Just click the link and sign up to a free trial.
Yeah,
and that is all you need to do.
Yeah.
So, this week, like I say, we're talking aliens.
We are.
Aliens seem
a bit of aliens
to, get about a bit.
They do, don't they?
They do, though, don't they, though?
They do,
Right, and we were talking about, Roswell. We've talked about a lot of the American UFO things that have happened.
Over there,
But, they do happen here in the UK as well. And I mean, I wonder what the UK government has to say on the matter, because obviously they're keeping it pretty stum.
Stum.
And I mean, everyone focuses on getting US closure on the whole topic, and as if the Americans say it's all good and there is aliens, then that's enough for us. Yeah. But these other countries with their own cachet of evidence.
And I think Chile's
UK
the best
being one, Chile, Russia, China, they've all got a sort of Area 51 style
places.
Them places, but also the evidence, the data, the pieces of crashed UFOs, these sort of objects that have been kind of kept in archives. And
hidden away,
or not even just hidden away, because I mean, in this instance, this piece of archived evidence was actually kind of mislabeled, kind of lost.
Yeah, it got lost in the post.
And it's like, jinx.
You can't say.
Nah, I jinxed you.
Yeah, you did.
Anyway, so they've lost it in the post, didn't they, Taylor?
Yeah. Hey, I can speak again.
Right, I know we just don't want you to hold the show up with your jinx. So, this kind of was a piece of evidence, a piece of UFO, supposedly.
And could be hard evidence.
Sent to be analysed, but then ended up getting lost. So, I mean, you
couldn't write it down, could you? You couldn't put it in a book.
Because the story starts when Scarborough businessman Frank Dickinson, he was about 42 at the time, claimed that him and 2 friends were driving by Reesley Hill near the village of Silpho one night, and his car stalled. And he saw in the sky a glowing object that appeared to be falling to the ground over the ridge at Broxer Forest.
That's right.
So Mr. Dickinson left the car and climbed the steep banking, but he found the metallic type saucer laying a patch of ground.
So he thought he'd go back to his friends in the car because he might need a little help with carrying it back and stuff.
Picking that bad boy up.
And on his way back, he bumps into a young man and a young woman. They didn't say anything, but
they were walking to the scene. They must have seen whatever it was that had come out the sky.
Yeah, I think they were investigating the same as he was.
Right. Yeah. So he's walked past them as they're going towards what he's just discovered.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's funny because one of the reports that I read, it described it as a miniature UFO. Like the UFO, when you think of a UFO, you think this is going to be like a huge ship.
Yeah,
and it was totally not what I expected when I kind of heard there was a UFO crash in Yorkshire.
Yeah,
like,
well,
you know, so
it was only 45 centimeters across.
Exactly. So I mean, do you know, it conjures up that scene in Men in Black? Do you know when you've got that little tiny alien? Where the galaxy dies. It's like, oh, the galaxy.
Exactly.
You
15
know,
kilograms it weighed as
aliens
well, so
come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true. Yeah, everything does. Yeah. But so he went back and got his friends, come back, and it disappeared.
Oh, do you reckon that woman and the guy had it away?
Well,
I mean, if it's only 45 centimetres long, I'd be like, can we take it home?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, it turned out they may have, because he so wanted to get that object back that he put a little article in the local paper. And the gentleman rang up and said I was the one who was walking down there at the time, and I have actually got it.
Yeah, because he placed a classified advert in the Scarborough newspaper.
Yeah.
And basically, like you say, it was answered by a man who said, I was the mystery man on the moors that day. So he demanded £200.
Yeah, demanded
for
payment.
it. He was like,
fucker.
give me £200 and you can have it.
Yeah.
Mr. Dickinson was like, are you having a fucking laugh?
Yeah, you're talking to a businessman.
Hello, boy. Are you having a laugh?
Aye.
I don't know why he was Welsh, but like he wasn't, was he? He was from Yorkshire.
No, he was.
But like
across the border.
He said, are you having a laugh?
Yeah.
And I'll give you £10 for it. That's all you're getting.
Yeah.
Right. But he did the deal in the middle of the night. Yeah. And he's gone and done the dodgy deal.
Oh yeah, a bit dodgy.
Handing over crashed UFO parts. Yeah,
or objects
in a car park of a Wendy's.
Of a Wendy's?
I don't know. Where was it? It was in England, wasn't it? So it was probably more
It'd be
like
on the moors somewhere.
in some fish and chip shop car park.
Well, funny you should say that.
Well, maybe this is where the connection lies, you see. So Mr. Dickinson later handed over the £10 in the nighttime exchange for the metallic object that was basically hidden in a sack when he got it.
Oh.
So
keep it in a sack. You don't want people seeing, because it was like a weird object.
Yeah,
really. Wasn't it? It was like, you reminds me of
I take it to you. If it was me who found it, I would. Everyone's got a go-to guy. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So like you've got a go-to guy. Yeah. If you find something weird, your mind straight away goes, so and so, it might not necessarily be you, but like depending on what you found, but there's always a go-to guy, right? Yeah. So in this instance, UFO found a spaceship, you're my go-to guy, right? Yeah. In this instance, right? Mr. Dickinson's go-to guy was his solicitor, Anthony Parker, who he took it over to because he wanted him to examine it. He wanted him to do a bit of examine it at his house. Yeah.
Am I crazy, or is it like a bit of junk?
Mr. Anthony, is this what I think it is? Yeah.
It might be. So,
Parker told the press that he advised Mr. Dickinson to hand it over to the air military.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously he thought it might have been something a bit taster.
Yeah, it might be military actual.
Or maybe military tech. Or it could be. Well, this was all happening in 1956. Yeah. Right, just after the Cold War. Yeah. Right. So anything.
Cold War. You in World War II. Well, Cold War continued from there.
All right then. So it's just straight after the war. So any sort of like
you'd be getting military tech and trying to
or
build more
like
for
you
another
find
attack
on your soil though. It should be something that you report to the
MOD. I should imagine so. Yeah.
So I mean, his solicitor's telling him to do that. Yeah. So he didn't. I don't think he did.
Good
but
lad.
Basically, I don't think it was. He says he didn't think it was a flying saucer for a start, and he didn't believe that such things could come from outer space. So I'm assuming Mr. Parker was a bit of a non-believer.
Yeah.
When it comes to the spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Parker basically his fascination grew. Once Mr. Dickinson and another friend of his, Philip Longbottom.
Yeah, Philip Longbottom.
Mr. Longbottom.
Yes.
They prized it open.
Yeah,
like a big fuck off nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was, yeah.
crack that bad boy in two.
Because he knows it was hollow.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's the curiosity of everything. It's like, there's a YouTube channel, I'm going to give them props because I watch them often where they cut stuff open to see what's inside. I think it's exactly called that, what's inside. And like, even when they got the YouTube, play button, they cut that open just to see what was inside, because that's the nature of their channel. Do you know what I mean? That's what got them the button.
Yeah.
Do you know? So
why not
cut it up?
Yeah. Why not find out what they're actually giving me?
So, that is just human curiosity. That even you don't know if this could be extraterrestrial, it could be military, it could be anything. It could have plutonium inside it, or a harmful fucking spore, or an alien, or anything. And they go, I don't know, let's break it open. Silly humans.
It was copper. There was a lot of copper on it, and there was also a lot of symbols on there.
There was hieroglyphics on the base, so there was supposedly a hieroglyphic on the base that nobody could translate.
Yeah. It actually thought it may be Russian, and because Sputnik went up a couple of weeks beforehand. And it might have fell off there or something like that.
Yeah, that was it. It was the space race, wasn't it? It was just the start of the space race. Yeah. So as well as kind of like you say, Sputnik going up, there was a theory that it was potentially a part of Sputnik or a part of the launch.
Or a secret launch from Britain.
Something. It could have been anything. And just possible. A part. Like I can say, there was actually even a theory that it was a hoax, and it was built from an old boiler, like a combi boiler or something. Not a combi boiler, one of those old copper cylinders. And
it was a lot of copper. Majority of it was copper.
So they break it open, and what did they find?
They found springs with
Springs.
that you would have on a book.
Like leaf springs.
Yeah. But then you find, like if you have a book and it like swirls to keep it all together on the...
Yeah, because he said, didn't they? There was 17 pages of a copper book.
Very thin leaf pages.
Copper pages. With more of these hieroglyphics on. And it was bound with a copper wire. Yeah. As well as... bits of glass,
but like glass that had been high heated.
Yeah. So what's the theory here? So it's come falling out of the sky.
Yeah.
And that glass was maybe
must have been around
because I was like, what? Was there any circuitry? Was there any propulsion? Any signs of mechanics or a way of this being able to propel itself?
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
Just bits of glass.
But then there is a theory now which they're trying to actually do, and I think they can actually do now, is glass for holding your information. So if it's possible to do that now through us, and it is another race, the race is probably...
I mean, we do it now anyway. Fibre optic cabling is like a glass cabling.
Yeah, and if they
we're able to transfer information down. I mean, and light and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not store information on glass? That sounds perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. Which has maybe a little engineering, like little pack. I don't know. It could touch the copper and actually make it levitate or make it go where it wants. Like you would have a drone, but instead of all the circuitry, you'd have it in glass.
Yeah. Well, inside, like you say, there was traces of ash, fused glass and copper. A copper book that had a coil of a hollow tubing wrapped around it. And the story made headlines just 2 months after the Cold War space race began, which launched Sputnik. And obviously, Yorkshire folk, the good old Yorkshire folk, had a cup of tea.
They did. They sat down, had
a cup of tea, and thought, it's fucking UFO, that.
Yeah.
Space aliens.
Well, the message inside was interesting.
There was a message
supposedly,
inside?
Supposedly Philip had actually broke the code of what the writing, the 2,000 words supposedly written on these leaf. And it was supposed to be improve or disappear. and then it was on about atoms and how the atom is going to create warfare.
Right. Okay. Well, they're saying...
Yeah, it just finished dropping 2 nuclear bombs on Japan.
Well, it could have pinged off from one of them.
Yeah, but ever since then, the only real disasters that have happened to do with nuclear are the 2 nuclear plants that went off. And that's really it. There's only been tested.
Well, it has been...
Bombs.
This has been tested, this spaceship, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've had it tested by like meteorologists, and you know, who would be able to tell whether it's been you know, subjected to high temperatures, those types of things. Because I mean, obviously, when you find a bit of glass in there, I thought straight away, oh, well, you know, it could have been parts and components that have melted under fucking atmospheric heat pressures. But they concluded that it could not have arrived to Earth from space because there's no evidence that it's been exposed to high temperatures. This was Jeremy Randalls, who read the report produced in Manchester and said he believes that it's the most costly and well-organised hoax that's ever taken place in Britain.
Oh, right. There's a possibility.
And you know what I mean? This is a Manchester lad. Got to give him that extra points.
Yeah, because it got me with, like, there was a lot of copper and...
Jenny Randalls. Sorry, I do apologise, Jenny.
There's, it was more copper, but a bit of lead and bits of other little bits of metal. But they were all stuff that actually could come from here.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Can be developed, which got me a bit like, why would you use... I mean... Out of all the stories that I know of UFOs, crashes and stuff like that, there's the material that actually lands, including the rock, the Roswell rock. There's nothing to say
that those materials don't exist on other planets.
Yeah, but them materials must be normal to them to use them all the time, where we haven't got them, so we can't use them. We can only use the products that we already know how to make. So if...
Well, we know all about copper, and you know, we use alloys because of lighter.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of
for going through space,
but
and
in
stuff
terms
like
of
this.
A hoax,
if
1956, you know, you're going to be like, what have we got that we can make a UFO out of? And it's what, like you say, a copper fucking old boiler, and whatever you've got to hand, really, isn't it? It's not like space age materials,
which is the part that makes me think that it could be fake.
Well, one of the things that goes against that says that the hoaxers actually never seemed to gain from it. They never made any profit, never took any credit.
True, but if you don't try, you don't make a buck.
But I mean, at the end of the day, is it not just like personal satisfaction?
Yeah,
I mean, knowing that you just pulled one, like, it's made headlines, and you're sat there laughing about it because
and it's come forward again years later.
Years and years later. I mean, we're talking about it now, so you know.
And there's not really that much information out there on it, to be honest.
I mean, have you got anything else? Because basically, what happened with these parts it was quite interesting, because they end up sending these parts out, don't they, for testing, in laboratory testing. It comes up a bit later on, like you say, back in the 60s, where somebody, I think the case reopens, people start getting a bit more interested in it again, and it seems that it was broken down and sent to various museums and facilities to be analysed.
Well, it seems that the bits that they actually took off, it was supposed to go to the London Science Museum. So somewhere along the lines, they've misplaced it. And so a guy called David Clark from the Sheffield University, who deals in like myths and legends and journalism, decided to have a little hunt of it. So he ended up finding that the object had been sent to Victoria Albert Museum, which is basically an art museum, and from there it got sent to the Natural History Museum, where it had been studied, but then basically put back.
Yeah, because when it was at the Science Museum, the Natural History Museum, it was speculated by the Meteors and Explosives Department.
Yeah.
And they said they couldn't find anything unusual in the sample. In a memo to the Science Museum, Gordon Caronbull said that he was prepared to wager anything that the piece of metal was made on Earth, and the skeptic claimed that the saucer was made from a domestic water heater cylinder in the back street garage and placed on the moors as an elaborate hoax.
Well, yeah, but then you're saying Frank was the one who
I bet
placed
to
it.
wager that this was made in some back street gambling hut.
Or was it the man and woman who he passed? Put it there
maybe
and gone back
as an art piece, maybe.
Well, yeah,
or maybe they were just trying to like get a Roswell sort of like media hype.
Yeah, but then that doesn't explain why his car, if it did stop,
True,
he's
he
seen
did say
something
he had
go
a stall,
through there,
didn't he? Yeah, and
that's
at
a general.
the very time that
That's a general thing as well with UFOs. Like when you're close enough to it, it disturbs the engine and disturbs the electrics and the your car basically, so it will stop. And even sometimes, well, if they do abduct you, then your time loses.
Yeah, well, he had friends with him, so they didn't all get abducted either, did they?
That's true.
Maybe they did.
Hey, you never know. So basically, he got lost again after that, and so he carried on with his search, and he found that it was in a box in the London Science Museum where it was supposed to be in the first place.
Yeah, it had been in the archives for like 30 years.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, the pieces have gone through museum. Obviously, they've gone like, oh, well, you might have something to do with that. It's nothing to do with what we can't find, so you have a look. And it's probably just gone down the line from one museum to another, but then there's times when it's been put in the back for like 10, 15, 20 years, and then someone's just come across it and gone, oh, let's have a little look. Oh, it's nothing to do with us. Let's send it to blah, 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 and get them to have a little search.
Well, the Yorkshire Post first broke the story back in 1957, but half a century of missing pieces of a puzzle that's been sitting inside a cigar box at the Science Museum archives.
Yeah, which makes me think there's a lot more.
I mean, more than 200 miles away, which wasn't that far, really, from the moorlands that they were originally found in.
Hey, that's a bit funny, because didn't that lad want 200 quid?
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, that's a bit of a...
A pound for every mile.
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds like a big riddle, doesn't it?
It does.
It does sound like a big Magic Beans story. It was like I was walking down the street and a man tried to sell me a UFO for $200. It's like, I said, hell no, I'll give you 10. And it was like, okay, I'll take the 10. And then, like, you know, spends his whole life trying to prove that it is actually what he paid for it.
Yeah,
as a UFO.
Well,
you know
from
here,
what would you say? Would you say it was fake, or would you say it was?
Well, there's more evidence for the hoax than there is for the actual UFO. But I like to believe that. I mean, and the fact that it was the dimensions of it, and like I say, not to say that UFOs and aliens aren't, you know, come in all sizes, but you know, it's a bit of a small UFO made out of a water heater.
Yeah, and it's the materials are the thing that really gets me on it, that makes me think that it's a hoax. But then with the car stopping, if it was true, and they'd seen it actually come through
the thing
sky,
about the fact that they were kind of like going to crack it open, they're going to check what's inside it. It was the fact that there was no sort of like compulsion or, you know, any sort of mechanics or any way of propelling it. Yeah.
But then you'd expect that from a UFO, not from something that we made.
Yeah. So no combustion, no sort of propulsion, where, you know, no occupants. Yeah. He said that they believed that the craft looked like it was made for flight or controlling. So you made a good point actually earlier on, where you were saying it could have been a drone style you know, sort of
new development. Yeah,
maybe it was drone from us, or maybe it was a drone from a bigger craft. Do you know what I mean? Like sending it down and it got hit, or the lightning bolt or whatever, and it's crashed. Maybe it's not a piloted UFO. maybe it's more like what we use as a drone.
Yeah, that's where. Because there's a lot of circle UFOs.
The thing that kind of sparked my interest in the sense that it was like a bit different to your average hoaxes is the hieroglyphics. Now, I'd be interested to know what that book said, whether.
Yeah, because that Philip must have had the code because he said he broke the code and read it. Now, and he basically said this, that, and the other.
I found it quite interesting because I think it must have been Mr. Ramsbottom or Longbottom.
Yeah. Philip Longbottom.
Phil Longbottom. He owned the chippy, didn't he?
He owned the cafe.
Right, so he owned a cafe. One of them owned a chipper, right? Yeah. Or it ended up in a chippy window.
Yeah, for years.
For years and years. Yeah. I bet that's what was in the copper book, how to make crispy, bubbly batter.
Oh yeah, it might have a kind of energy on it to actually make the food better. This is why the
chips this is the nicest chips in Yorkshire.
Yeah, I wonder if he made. I wonder if he was one of the best chippies.
It's funny though because it's interesting to see that because and I always use this as a kind of a reference thing, but because it's a good mystery that has a bit of everything.
It does,
Oak Island. Yeah. Do you know the 9-foot stone that was found? That went missing and he's still missing and nobody knows where it is. That actually was in a shop window for a number of years and people remember it being there and they kind of have evidence to say it was there, but then it just disappeared from that location.
Oh right, so they still couldn't find it.
Exactly,
it disappeared
it's gone there. Now. It's no one knows where it is, but it's the same sort of situation where this really sort of weird piece of evidence has ended up in a chip shop window for God knows how long, and then until all of a sudden it's disappeared again, and it's like, well, I mean, I've got to imagine that they've got, because this is it, the bits that were found in this cigar box were only pieces.
Yeah, that's right.
They seem to rather have been the bits that were inside it, which makes me think, well, where's the actual ship? Yeah,
and it doesn't look coppery either. It looks
I think now with today's modern science, is it time for them to kind of reassess it and have another
I believe they are doing.
Examining it to see what they can find out? Because I'm really intrigued with the hieroglyphics and what this so-called copper book has to say.
Yeah.
If you guys have got any evidence or information on it, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Obviously, get in touch in the usual way over the website at neverstraightanswer.co.uk or email at neverstraightanswer@gmail.co.uk.
But it was interesting as well that in 1959, Air Chief Marshal Lord. He's a big whip.
Air Chief Marshal, Lord High Priest of the fucking Congo.
Dugginton, I think it is. Looked at it, believed that it did actually come from space.
Okay.
And he was an admiral, nearly an admiral, chief. You know what I mean? So he's at the top of his...
or he could have just been taking too much of the old...
he could have been...
brandy.
Yeah, could have been losing his head.
Could have been losing it.
Yeah,
I've seen some things.
But,
You don't know, man. You weren't there.
True, but he would have more chance of knowing that what development that the Navy has.
Sounds like Daddy's hats fell off.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
But that is a high person to actually turn around and say, yeah, I believe it. Yeah, it was from here. I've examined it myself.
You see, this is it. I'm on the fence with this one. To be honest,
I'm on the fence that it's a hoax, but I'm still on that fence.
I just love the fact that it could have just been made out of like a boiler. That's kind of makes me laugh. But out of. If it is a hoax, it's an elaborate hoax, and like that guy said, it's a hoax that no one's taken any credit for, no one's made any profit off it. It's a hoax that's been unanswered and still unexplained decades later. It's definitely one of the UK's unsolved mysteries, and I'd say it's still pretty interesting. Yeah, and there's a lot to be kind of still unpacked on it. So, I mean, I'll be keeping an eye out. I'll hope that somebody in the near future is able to decipher the copper book.
Well, I believe Dave Clark is still on the mission. So now they found it, they're actually going to do experiments and, see if anything comes out of it. And In fact, I might try and get hold of him because he's only up the road, and see if we can have an interview if he's actually got anything.
Well, who was the
details.
other one from Manchester? That Jenny.
Yeah, see if she's still doing it, and like
if she's still got an opinion. Well, she'd obviously have an opinion, but depends. Anyone local listening who's got any information, we'd love to hear.
Yeah. If you got more info, please.
You see, I posted some photos and basically there's a bundle of all this evidence. Yeah. And I mean, looking at it, it just looks like a bit of scrap. But who knows what that could be? Who knows whether it's from planet Earth or space?
I don't know. It looks a bit. It might. I'm kind of thinking that it might have fell off a plane. I'm kind of thinking it might be a part of a device that they had in the, but it fell off because it was not put on properly enough.
I'd
like
more believe that it fell off Sputnik. Yeah,
I don't, because
or something to that effect. Well, that's what the Russians would tell you, but they were like, no, thing went off perfectly. It was not the hitch. We you Yankee Americans, go fuck yourselves.
Well, we're gonna fuck you if you carry on the way the fucking doing.
You don't fuck me, I fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think Sputnik's got anything to do with it, to be honest. Either a plane, someone's faked it, or it's the real article at the end of the day.
Okay, well, there
Make your mind up, people.
You heard it here, probably not first.
Yeah.
Well, we'd love to hear more about aliens and the UFOs, but we've got more stuff coming up in the show.
We have.
Including this. It's the news! Oh, and it's been, it's been a bit of a weird week for news. It's been mainly dominated by the Jubilee.
Yes.
Which we've talked about, so we won't go too much into that. No. But there's been some crazy stuff going on in the world. I found this on an American news site. Former police officer arrested outside U.S. Capitol with ammunition, a BB gun, fake badge, and body armor.
What the fuck?
What was he up to?
Yeah.
Former copper as well, so it's not even like he was on duty. But the U.S. Capitol Police on Friday charged a retired New York police officer with unlawful possession of high-caliber magazines and unregistered ammunition, according to the agency. Officers arrested Jerome Philippe of Michigan around 5 a.m., and the agency said that he had packed his 2017 Dodge Charger with parked his Dodge Charger near the Capitol and allowed officers to search it, according to the USCP.
What about impersonating a police officer?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they found a BB gun, 2 ballistic vests, several high-caliber magazines, and other ammunition in the car.
Oh, fuck.
So I wonder what he was off. I mean, he was obviously up to something. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, do you think that it's a case of that? I mean, obviously, he's been charged more for the ammunition.
Yeah.
I mean, is obviously owning the ammunition the case? Because, I mean, obviously, I would suspect that, in terms of, the gun argument, people want to keep the guns. There's an argument against keeping guns.
Yeah.
Ban bullets. Is that not an option? Or make bullets so hard and rare to get hold of that, you can have your gun, but, you can't have high caliber ammunition. I mean, why you'd need, an assault rifle and, those sorts of, heavy artillery to, defend your home is a bit much, I think. But, I mean, maybe that's just because I'm raised here in the UK that we don't have that sort of attitude towards having guns to protect your home. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
more and more I'm feeling like that's the future over here. Do you know what I mean?
Person looking after his property, or their property, should I say. I mean, I'm on the side that they should have the right to hold firearms for protection of their home and property. I'm all for that.
But
what
obviously,
I'm not for is high caliber.
This guy going out and loading up his car with, his vehicle with
Yeah, ammunition.
Ammunition. I mean, to get kind of information, I would like to know what his intentions were.
Well, I think the police would like to know that as well.
Yeah, apparently the incident is still under further investigation, so as soon as we find out, we'll let you know.
Yeah. Bit fucking dodgy, isn't it?
Exactly. Another automotive story I found.
Yeah.
About pollution. Apparently, car tyres produce vastly more particles of pollution than exhausts.
Yeah, I can believe that.
So even if you've got like it cuts it down. Obviously, if you've got an electric car, it cuts the pollution that you're generating down by half.
Through the fuel.
Well, by a lot.
But it's still got the tyres to
Is
deal
it
with.
time to invest in flying cars?
No.
Why?
There is a Swedish company that's actually this year been allowed to...
I want a flying car!
It's allowed to actually start flying it in the air and all over the place.
Well, obviously, the infrastructure for normal cars is there, right? So introducing a more environmental car that can run on a road is the better option because we've already built the roads and the infrastructure, worldwide, right? Yeah. To introduce flying cars now is a bit of a shit because it's like, right, well, we've got all this sort of air traffic to
big
contend with.
At the minute with
we've got, the already in business airlines. Yeah. So there's obviously no fly zones, places you can't fly over government buildings.
Yeah.
The sort of rules that drones have. Yeah. Now, it's like, well, I might need to go past a government building flying in my flying car to get to work.
Well, you're not allowed
it's like you're not allowed to. Exactly. So there's all these sort of things that go hand in hand with having a flying car. Yeah.
Planes have enough problems.
That's what I'm saying. Like air traffic control directing you in and say you like trying to get permission to take off. From your garage.
It would only be brought in, not for our advantage, but it will only be brought in because it's another subject of getting money from us.
Well, I'd love a flying car. I'm totally not opposed to flying cars, but it'd be one of those things where it'd be like, look, we've got a flying car, but it's a recreational vehicle.
Do it when we're on the Mars.
Use them on Mars. Introduce them when we get to a next planet where we can build that infrastructure in from the start, basically, isn't it? It's like, when we can look at Earth and go, haha.
Yeah, you're like the old style. Some people like that. And then, like, if you want to go to the new style,
Coke and Coke Classic. New Coke and Coke Classic.
You can always come home, but you got to stick by our laws and the old rules and the way things
drive cars like we would daddy stuff.
Yeah, because
it'd be pong hong.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea if we could do it in be the next thing to actually happen on the moon. So we can actually check the moon out even more.
That is my new. Do you know what? That's going to be one of my campaign pitches for president of the world when I do go to Mars, and it'll be like, flying cars for everyone. Hey, that's one of my campaign promises.
Yeah, but it'll take you a long journey to get it being sent to you.
Elon Musk, build me a load of flying cars, won't you?
It'd be a good investment for some company over there in space.
If you want to get involved with the moons and the Marses and stuff, then Elon Musk, prepare me my flying car.
Oh, well, he's been, that's if he lasts that long, he's being hit by everyone at the minute, the government.
Well, then that's what they say. If they only hit you if you're doing something right. You know what I mean? If you're making waves.
Yeah, that is true. And he is making waves.
Yeah. So I mean, people are like getting pissed at him, at the Techno King.
He's getting more power, more control. Which, but what he's doing is he's trying to do He's trying to do stuff for everyone, not for his own pocket. Unlike a lot of governments and firms do.
It's just a happenstance that his pocket's getting very well lined at the same time.
He keeps turning, doesn't he, into number one.
You can argue that he's a philanthropist. Do you know what I mean? And say, he is like our modern day Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him hurtling past my window in a jetpack. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's that kind of guy.
He built a flamethrower, so
that's what I'm saying.
I mean?
It's like, he does seem to be that type of guy. So, whatever he does, I mean,
it's
but
all
like I
great
say,
at the minute.
like I say, if there was going to be such thing as a flying car, so just cut down on all this, pollution that tyres are generating.
Yeah,
then
but
Elon's your
still-
fella.
I still don't think we put half as much pollution as they say we do.
Or even
though
just,
we do have to
just cut down on how many wheels we use. So, like, motorcycles have got the right idea because they've halved their,
Get rid of the motor and just have it cycles.
and then or free-wheel vans.
Free-wheel back, yeah.
Just bring back free-wheel vans, but
Yeah.
just put one of the wheels
They
at
were
the back.
well known in Yorkshire as well.
Yeah, they were,
Yeah,
weren't they?
man, yeah.
So have you found anything in the news that you thought you might like to talk about?
Yeah, actually, with it being like the Jubilee and
The
with
Jubilee.
Commonwealth and that it looks like that Australia are willing to come out of the Commonwealth. It's looking more likely that it's
They're
going to
like,
happen.
fuck those
Yeah.
pommy fucking limeys,
Yeah.
whatever they call us. I don't know.
Those limeys are being thrown to the... Even though we're
That's
getting
fair.
more Australian
Like I
stuff
said
in this
earlier, I
country.
mean, Jamaica wanted out. Everyone wants out of the Commonwealth. I mean, what sort of purpose does it actually... I mean, we can have those relationships still without having to be like, well, no, you are under our rule and you've got the Queen on your money and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
it's
but
like
it's
these
sort of-
Canadian people waking up and going, who the fuck's this? Do you know what I mean? Oh, not Canadian, fucking Australia.
Canadian,
Anyway,
yeah.
anywhere the Commonwealth's big, with the Queen's on stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
So
why
she
are
gets
we being
recognised, man.
fucking dictated to by someone who's not even a resident?
Yeah, but
of
they're
our
not really
country?
being dictated. It's
Well, no, they're
only
not.
certain-
But that's why the way people see, kind of like you're under,
the empire's
you're
still
under,
part
you're
of the
under
Empire.
rule of
Yeah.
the British Empire,
Yeah, I can
basically.
see
And
that.
it's like I don't think that I thought that was disbanded years ago. If
Yeah.
you want to call it the Commonwealth, if it's still believed to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Then disband it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really hold any weight apart from having connections and a connection in the sense that you're part of our club and we'll help to protect you and give you aid and give you help when you need it.
Yeah,
right?
that's a part of
and
our
as long
duties,
as we can kind of still uphold those sort of ideals, then what's the problem? We don't have to be be named as like one of our territories.
Yeah,
Do you know
but
what I
that's
mean?
like
because they're not.
I think it's sort of like
Who
would you help first, the family member or the friend?
Well, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's one of
totally what
them.
you get. But what you're trying to say is like, if you break away from the Commonwealth, you're no longer a family member.
Yeah, basically, like.
Oh well, there
we're
you go. Well,
friends,
Harry's
you
got
know.
a lot to. Harry's broke away
But-
from the family.
But countries do deals as in you give me something for something else, not like
Sorry,
I
Harry,
will
we're
help
just
you out,
friends.
and if I come into this problem, you can help me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's-
But that's why
That's the
I
difference.
mean, like, it's one of those.
and
isn't
I
it?
don't believe that there's that many.
I mean,
rules.
obviously they don't see the benefits of being in the Commonwealth
Yeah.
as a
That's their
plus.
choice,
so
yeah.
that if they want to leave, and it does seem like every country that has been in or is in the Commonwealth at the moment is.
I won't say
not
every, but I'll say a
there's
few.
quite a lot of them are saying that they don't see a actual benefit to being in the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they rather just be an independent republic or their own thing, which
Well,
is totally fair enough.
But then it's the old thing of like,
I mean,
okay,
if
we'll allow it.
If Scotland
but
wanted
they'll
to
come
turn,
running back.
Scotland or Wales wanted to turn around, I mean, they've had referendums
Yeah.
to be independent.
Yeah.
And I mean, if they were independent, I'd find that quite hilarious that I'd have to show my passport going to
England
Scotland. Do you know what I mean?
England is-
pop into North Wales showing my passport.
England isn't
On the border.
independent. England isn't independent. We haven't got a parliament. We've got a parliament for everything else, but we haven't, as England, have got a parliament.
Oh, there you
and
go.
that's where some things go wrong as well.
It was a
Which
bit
would,
squiff.
if we did get rid of the Commonwealth, we'd have to do that.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
If you would, do you think the Commonwealth still holds any relevance in today's modern age, or
I'd like
do you
to
think
think
it's just a bit of a
Waste of time?
Well, no, it's not that. It's how you kind of word it. But you can still have those relationships with other countries without having a rule over them and being able to say that you're our territory. You know, and I think that's what it comes down to. It's that sort
I don't know.
It's the idea. You kind of go on about protecting your sovereign land. Yeah. Now that's their sovereign land. When they kind of wake up in the morning and they have a patriotic, you know, feeling towards where they live, anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Then.
But
then that's the same feeling you get about your country, but it's in that sense you want it to be free. Yeah, so if you feel like that, well, unfortunately your country is still governed or dictated to by another country that really don't even step foot here, then you'd be like, no, we don't want that. I want to be, you know, we want to be able to do what we want to do. And it's exactly the same thing as us wanting to leave the European Union.
Well, what about the
so
ones who do? So
we can make our own laws and our own rules for our own country and our own people.
Yeah, but we don't. We do it for the union.
Stop arguing.
But what about if you are actually a royalist and your country wants to leave it? I mean, there are parts,
totally. I mean,
well,
this is it. Unfortunate, it's the majority rule, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unfortunate, and that's what makes
that's the system.
A good system in the sense that you all have your say, and if you go with whatever the outcome is, and that's the unfortunate fucking
that's how the outcome is got to be at the end of the day.
The cold, harsh reality of the situation.
It's not a perfect system, but it's a system.
Yeah. So, have you found anything?
Johnny Depp, he got a good win.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, man. He got...
Not to be smug for Johnny, but Johnny, you fucking well done.
Well, no, not
Amber
really.
Amber Heard seems a bit of a psycho.
He's lost £50 million
I don't want
worth.
to be sued, because he ain't got anything to be sued by. So sorry, Amber.
He lost $50 million in films and stuff like that going on, doing all this court business. He gained $10 million on one thing, he gained 5 on another. She gained nothing on one and 2 million on another. She was basically found out as a liar.
She got 2 million, not off Johnny. It was off a solicitor that she'd hired, I believe. So it was some other substantiated defamation fucking bit.
Trial.
But it was nothing really to do with the Johnny Depp thing. It was like part of it, but the money didn't come from Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
This is some poor fucking guy who's got to pay her back.
Yeah.
In installments. Yeah, right. On a monthly basis.
It's going to have to be, isn't it?
So he's probably not got 2 million kicking about, right? So he's like that to the judge, going, "Oh, can I pay on the weekly?"
Yeah. I'll give you a $5 a week. Yeah.
So Amber's probably going to see a bit of it.
Yeah. She'll see all of it. It'll be down to the court. But there's a new investigation on why the trial that was brought over to England was squashed straight away, when the evidence, the exactly same evidence, went over to the US and they actually got a result.
Well, because in the US, it's the same thing as, like, you know, with Andrew. Again, we're going to go. I mean, I feel like this is an anti-royal episode today, but it's not in the slightest. Happy Jubilee.
Yeah, right? Happy Jubilee to the Queen here.
At the Andrew case, in that situation where it was basically because he's protected here as a royal, you know, that the case would never see the light of day.
Yeah, because he hasn't been.
You know, but over in America, they were like, "Hard diggity damn, we'll take the case." They were fucking pushing for it. They want him extradited, to bring him over to answer for his fucking crimes. Which, you know, we ended up. Did he do it? Did he go? Are you sure?
No, he didn't go. He paid, didn't he?
Yeah, he paid her off. Right?
He reckoned 12.
So obviously that's never happened. But I mean, at least they kind of pushed for it. Whereas the legal system over here seems to be a bit kind of like, you know.
I don't think it was right because she took the money. She even specified that she wouldn't take the money; she would take it straight to trial.
The whole thing.
We all want to know.
I mean, the whole thing about Johnny Depp is, I mean, he's one of them guys who, you know, he's a big name. He's been around for a long time, you know, and.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
He's got a defamation of character and loss of earnings, because obviously at the time no one's wanted to touch him.
He asked him back though.
Oh, of course he will, because I mean, but is that a bit of a fucking little too late? But then he's asking,
are you for someone who's done, which it was just like defamation stuff like this, it wasn't actual harmful to anyone else apart from
Johnny Depp.
Yeah. If he was convicted for it and like he lost the battle, would you like keep him, you know, as like someone you're going to be working with? Are you going to trust that person?
Well, I mean, this is the thing, because I think like the evidence has spoken, and I think anyone who watched all the hours of the thing.
I'll tell you where it did go wrong for crime against women. Because she was fighting for crime against women going through court.
So I mean, obviously, there's
and
a lot
sort of wrecked that on that
because I mean, there's a lot of people who actually do go through domestic abuse, and like, you know, in a very real sense, and you know, when you've got people crying, I mean, I'm not saying that she didn't feel abused, like, you know what I mean, but in terms of the reality of it, what the jury found from the evidence presented, that it wasn't as clear cut as she made out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But obviously, it does two things. It kind of like you've just said there, it doesn't do him any favors, but in some senses it does, because it highlights the topic. It also gets people talking about the real people who are really going through fucking real domestic abuse.
Well, yeah, but because she was coming across as being a victim.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, on Johnny Depp's side, if you want to look, I'm trying to look at this as objectively as possible. Yeah. Would you not just say, I mean, Johnny Depp was in a relationship with Amber, and he's suffering from mental and domestic abuse because she's putting him through a situation that he doesn't feel comfortable in, or doesn't kind of like want to deal with. So, I mean, it works both ways. I'm not just saying that it's a only woman problem, or it is... You know, domestic abuse exists on both sides of the fence in relationships. So, you know.
It's just, it was just that she was so strongly, you know, putting them things across that it actually harmed that area where she shouldn't have been so strong on it.
I am very much looking forward to seeing the next installment of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yes. Let's hope it gets
GE.
It should do.
On the Black Pearl.
Yeah.
Right, come on. Well, I found this story, which I thought was quite amusing, and how they managed to get the information, because I love a good whistleblower.
Yeah.
But it's the principle of the thing. A lot of the time people think that, you know, whistleblow because you want you know, the public need to know this information. Yeah, this is a whistleblower who apparently leaked classified Chinese tank schematics just to win an online argument.
Clever fella, wasn't he?
I was like, I will prove to you. So these tank schematics, fans of the free military video game War Thunder are so passionate about the game that they've taken to sharing actual classified schematics of real-life military vehicles in an effort to win arguments on the game.
That's one for the spine books.
So I think you'll find that the 1995 fucking T-72 Stingray tank was... do you know what? And I'm going to have people commenting now, because that's not a real tank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. So, like, but, so they were arguing about that, which led to one of these gamers actually hacking and retrieving...
Hacking?
Well, he must have, because he's managed to obtain and leak classified military documents to make sure that the tank video game was more accurate.
Well, he better move then, hasn't he? Because he is fucked if they found him.
Well, that's it. I think they don't really... Oh, this must be one of the game designers then.
Oh, shit.
That have done it because, like, they've leaked the documents in order to make the game more realistic by the sounds of it.
Yeah, because they'd have to do research, won't they, on different tactical
Well,
weaponry.
It's a popular armoured combat simulator featuring modern land, air and sea craft. And maybe this is just a big ploy to get people talking about the game, but, you know...
Hey, well, yeah, it's possible. Well, we'll find out if he goes missing in the next couple of weeks.
when the Chinese
get hold of him,
Like, you have leaked, you fucking leaked our tanks. You know what that...
You know what that means, don't you? Yeah. Say bye-bye to everybody.
At least 3 of your fingers.
Yeah.
Anything else you've seen on the old news?
Yes, and I'm quite happy about this, but it's only a knockback for now. Basically, I was saying a couple of weeks ago about the WHO, the World Health Organization, wanting to get a pandemic group together of the 194 countries to actually sign up to an agreement in 2024 to actually state that they have full control of if there's ever another pandemic, which it looks like there may be another one. They get control of what goes on, who gets the jab, who wears what equipment and stuff like this. So Brazil actually come out of it.
So rather than having like your fucking Matt
Your
Hancocks
own country,
looking
looking
after masks,
Yeah.
and shit like that,
Yeah.
you've got like an actual people going, right, we've got this many masks, we're doling them out, everyone gets a slice.
And everyone would have an ID as well, so there's where the ID card will come in, where everyone will be basically traced and registered.
I'm not having an ID card.
Nope,
Do you know what? This is the thing, yeah. They've been trying to push this ID card thing for ages, yeah. Do you know what I will say? I will lose it. Straight away.
Yeah.
I don't like ID card. Do you know what? I lost my national insurance card. I'll lose this.
Yeah.
Stop issuing me with pieces of plastic I'm going to
But
lose
then
or
turn
break.
around and say, well, you can't go here, you can't do this.
And I don't. And the next question is, no, I don't want an implant.
Yeah, no chance.
No way.
So Brazil come out of it, was the first one, and they all basically, the other countries were actually having a word with him, going like, what you doing, like join it and all this shit. So they had a meet. So President Biden actually wanted to fast track it to actually be signed next year. So when they had another meeting at the WHO, some of the African countries got together and vetoed it. So it has been pushed back for about another year or two, probably, until they're going to try it again. So thank you, Africa, for stopping
you, Africa.
Yeah, because it's going to be another control
network.
network.
Is that an Alanis Morissette song?
I don't know. Is it?
Maybe.
Could be a new one.
No, it's not. It's from the
no
90s.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm a big fan of it. But yeah, so I'm very happy over that.
Right. Well, we were talking a minute ago about court rulings and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But I found this story which I thought was bizarre, but also quite cool at the same time, finding a little loophole.
Oh yeah.
This is a California court that's ruled bees are fish.
What?
Yeah, you heard me right. Bees are now considered fish in the state of California.
That's some bullshit.
To get bumblebees protection against agricultural practices.
Why don't you just bring a law in, keep everything, and get rid of the fish name and put bee?
So basically, there's a law that protects the fish and the wetland. I assume wetland wildlife. Yeah, right. Which includes fish and turtles and whatever lives in the waters. Yeah, right. But because of agriculture, that's threatening that, right?
Yeah,
so these laws that
for a long
exist to say, basically, right, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, because the fish and that are more important. But bees aren't on the list, right? And they don't qualify, or didn't qualify, because they weren't fish, right?
Yeah.
Although they probably tick most of the boxes
to
say that they do need the protection.
Yeah, definitely.
They never fell into the protection because they're not fish.
Which I can't understand why they can't just go to the Parliament, put it through the process and go.
They've kind of done that, because now California court has ruled
that is a fish.
That technically speaking, they qualify for the protection. Yeah,
but it's still got to be known as a fish if it ever goes to court.
Basically, they've ruled it is bees are fish, but bumblebees
But then
are fish.
Surely you could lose the argument if you went to court with this is a fish. I could come in and go, well, can that fish fly that far? Does it pollinate?
I keep finding fish in my back
Does it make
garden
honey?
buzzing around my head.
Yeah, and so I'm presuming that they're going to lose the case straight away over that.
I'm going to go over to California and open a fish and chip restaurant.
Fish and bee.
Bee and chips.
Bee and chips, yeah.
Bee and chips. What you're talking about is fish.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
chips.
when they take me to court, I'll be like, well,
I was right.
if I'll state the case of bees versus fish.
Yeah, see, they've got to be careful with these laws because
of June 2020.
It's just going to mess things out. It's going to be like that isn't a table. That's a fucking bush.
It's like we're trying to reclassify things.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
no. It's like if a bee wants to identify as a fish, who am I to stop it? And if the California courts want, but the law have said you can call a bee a fish.
Yeah, but if it goes to court, it's got to be a fish.
I
and
look
it's not a
forward
fish.
to my tangy bee and chips platter.
Fucking, oh yeah, it's mad.
With red sauce.
Mad, see?
Yeah, lovely.
Just crazy, man.
Well,
I can understand it, but it's crazy that they just don't make a part of the law and go, and the bees.
Well, that's what they've done. They've determined that bees are actually could be considered fish. So there you go, eat that.
Swimming. You show me a swimming bee.
Well, I'll show me
you a fucking liar.
I mean, I can see if I've seen a peanut stand, I've seen a rubber band, I've sseen a flying fish, but I ain't seen a swimming bee.
When they fall out of the sky,
they just drowned.
Because it's jellyfish.
I keep finding them in the sink.
Fish are
finding
everywhere,
fish
man.
in the sink.
I whacked a fish yesterday.
Do you know what I mean?
It stung me, that fish, last week.
I got stung by a fish.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you don't think about this kind of shit.
See the fucking psychological boggling that's going on in my head right now. Anyway, right. So moving on. Have you seen anything more in the news? Have you got NASA news?
I've just got NASA news now, buddy.
I've got one or two more stories.
Oh, let's listen.
Apparently, though, social media crackdowns during the Ukraine war, has made the World Wide Web less World Wide Webber.
I can believe that.
And this is down to kind of. Stopping leaks of information in certain countries.
Yeah.
So since the Russian invasion of Ukraine in late February, people all over the world have been watching the war unfold. But obviously, I said this, it would happen because obviously back in the day, it was all, loose lips sink ships and keep mum. All that, and you didn't want other countries knowing what you were doing in your country. And I mean, social media now, it's so much kind of
you don't need
information.
Spies.
You don't need spies. You know everything that's going
on. Go on
the
net, bang.
Basically, the people in the country that you're invading are telling you exactly what's happening in their country. Or in a blog. Do you know what I mean?
America did just before Russia went in. They told them the exact plan on what they were doing. Obviously, Russia didn't go as far as like taking over the country because they weren't that strong.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, these are countries where stuff like Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, they were all kind of like widely used.
Yeah.
So as this is unfolding, you're getting an accurate picture of, like I said, this is the most covered war we've ever seen.
And it's helping the criminal courts as well.
Unfold bit by bit.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, like back in the day, you could only go off what you were reported back and seeing it exactly like, so you get reports back from the field.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing it they're seeing it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Before they've had it as military, like you say, that you don't need spies.
No.
Because you get that information's like fucking being broadcast.
Yeah.
So
and people freely doing it.
So does this mean a lead to them shutting down these sites in certain countries, which we've seen?
Yeah, China.
Which obviously makes that, or they kind of localize it, so it's only available in their server area or whatever. Which means that they can still use it, but it's not available to the rest of the world.
We're not quite there yet, but we're developing our own internet, which will be online when it comes. So that's one to wait for as well.
But the point of the internet
is to have freedom to discuss.
It's a free exchange of ideas. Exactly. It's connection with the world. It's a world wide web, not it's like an intranet.
Yeah.
Do you know when you've got like an internal internet in an office space or where can I access your files on your computer? Yeah, exactly. And it's only what the server can link you to.
Yeah.
Whereas in a world global internet, you've got every bit of information
to your hands,
to your fingertips, and by saying, well, you're not allowed to see what's going on in this country
controlling
now.
That information.
It is a bit of, information control.
But some aspects,
are we? We weren't ever privy to this much information.
No.
Back in the day. I mean, is it having this much information at our fingertips leading to a more stressful life, a more stressful world we live in? Whereas we're too stressed out because we know it all, or we see it all happening, and it's too much.
And not only that, if something happens,
with anxiety levels going through the roof with people, is it better to be, they say ignorance is bliss. Having less information.
Yeah.
Is it a good, better idea, or is it something that we should be elite? You know, if we want to take that break, then that's just down to us.
It should be like a library.
They should be able to take it away.
It should be how the libraries were, where if you had information you wanted to talk about something, you'd write it down, put it in a book, and put it in a library. Then people can come and have a look and like check that information out.
Yeah, but no. But the thing about a library, the thing about a library is. You know, books are wrote, or people write books, or scrolls, or whatever, and it gets put in a library. Yeah. There's no unless someone else has wrote a book with an alternate opinion about that. Then
but that's where
that's why the internet is so good, because if you want to find something on a topic, you can find 50 million different viewpoints on it. You can kind of go, well, read a million comments and find out, or a million fucking
bits of info,
you know, reviews on things. So, you know,
check it out yourself.
You've got a bit more kind of like a structured opinion where you're able to kind of take, you know, find more people who can give you an honest opinion, which might lead you to make a better judgment.
Not necessarily.
If you've just got one source of information in a library, then that's the only source of information or frame of reference you've got.
Yeah, but we have the pack mentality of like, if we're in groups of people
doing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, exactly. So
if Johnny was jumping off a bridge, would you do it?
Yeah, so it's dangerous in that way. But then, like I've said before, like, you know, it's a Pandora's box. It was great at the beginning, but now it's been abused, and like number one crime in the world is fraud through the internet, basically.
True,
you know what I mean? So that's why they want to try and bring stuff in as well.
Well, there's also espionage on the internet as well, and it's just another avenue of people getting information off other people.
And a lot of it is governmental. You know what I mean? Is like they want to know when.
I think
we'll
be doing another road trip actually at some point to one of the sites that we've talked about in the show, Men with Hill.
Yeah, Men with Hill.
We'll let you know when we're doing that.
We will. We'll send you the pictures.
Help us fund it by going over to Patreon. You know, petrol's costs a bomb at the moment.
It does.
Well, I've got another story, but it's not really like. I'll give you the gist, right, before we move on into NASA news, because it is quite a long-winded story, but it's quite amazing. It's one of those coincidences, you know, when they say, oh, well, we're going up a mountain and I saw me neighbour coming down it.
Yeah.
Right, similar thing, right? So a man who was arrested and sentenced to hang in a Singapore prison for possession of cannabis. But a chance encounter and a small tattoo helped him get acquitted.
Fucking hell.
Right, so this basically what happened was, right, so this lad, he's set up a drug deal, but it wasn't like a drug deal because he'd ordered some like cannabis substitute. It was called Butterfly, and it was basically like one of these, you know,
the smell, the texture, but it was nothing.
Illegal high. Yeah. Right, yeah. Now, they're really, really strict on the drug control in Singapore and all those Philippines and all the rest of it, right? So when this drug deal actually went down, it ended up turning out that they gave him proper cannabis rather than this butterfly stuff, right? Shit. Now, he swore he was innocent and that all he was waiting for was this butterfly stuff, but they took it as, he's just trying his luck and he won't, you know, they're not going to give him the time of day. Obviously, they've caught him red-handed. There was a drugs bust. They actually caught him in the act, of getting this parcel. So they went and arrested him and found the cannabis and ended up putting him in prison for life, basically. He was sentenced to death, right?
Oh, bastard.
So he's still crying, I'm innocent, I was expecting a parcel of illegal high, had not done anything wrong, right? Now, while he was in prison, he got like a bit of a, like, you know, exercise time. Yeah, and he became friends with a guy called Mark, right? Okay. So I think Rojo is the guy who's been put down,
Okay.
Right, so he was in prison since 2015.
Fucking hell.
Right, and it was 2 kilograms of cannabis that was in the package, right? So, so he's basically, Raj, he's called. Right. Yeah, Raj is in prison, and he meets this guy, Mark, right? And he's basically chatting with him, and he says, what day was it? So he tells him the story, and he goes, do you know what? I was supposed to be going to meet someone in that area that day.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to pick up a couple of kilo of cannabis.
Oh.
But I ended up getting this rainbow stuff instead.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Right? So he was saying, fuck off, I don't believe you. And he says, well, how do you know it was that day? And he says, because I've got a tattoo on my finger of the day my pet hamster died, right?
Oh,
which was the same day, right? So he remembers the day vividly,
yeah.
right? So he's gone to the warden or whoever and said, look, this guy's innocent. He didn't do anything wrong. He got my parcel instead, right, by accident. And I know it was that day because I've got it tattooed because of my pet hamster, right?
Yeah.
So he ended up going back into, like, you know, court.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've obviously believed him enough to kind of let it go back to court.
Yeah.
Where they give him an acquittal. So he's ended up getting
Lucky
off,
bugger.
right? He was sentenced to hang, right? And if the
That's
judges turned around and said, no, he was innocent. They've deemed that it wasn't just something that they'd cooked up, yeah, because he ended up being cellmates, yeah?
Yeah.
But Mark actually had nothing to gain from it because he's now owning up for another crime.
Which does he get the death sentence for
this
now?
Is the thing. I think he ended up getting, like, you know...
more penalties.
Well, I'm not sure if he did, to be honest, but, I mean...
Well, it depends what crime he's been done for before.
Exactly.
And
I mean, he could be already in there for hanging.
For life. Yeah,
But,
that's
like,
true.
yeah, I mean, he basically had nothing to gain from it. So...
That lad
but
was
he got
a
Raj
lucky
out.
one.
Yeah, Raj got off. And,
Good
yeah,
for
saved
Raj.
his
Good
skin,
lad.
basically. So, yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting story. And it's like, obviously, it's sometimes when they go, I'm innocent, it's like, maybe they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And good for the justice to actually get in there and actually do the right thing.
Ah, yes. So, well, we've got some NASA news.
We have flying to the sky.
Flying saucers all the way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to call this a flying saucer story as well, actually, because, like, it's almost like one of those stories that are a bit kind of flying saucer, but it's also the, what was it called? The Darwin Award winners.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so this is a story about a man who basically he was playing frisbee.
Right.
Which you could almost say it's a UFO.
Yeah.
Flying saucer.
Oh, yeah. Take
he's
pictures trying to get
He's
fake.
playing flying saucers, trying to get a fakie, trying to do a hoax,
Yeah.
right? When his frisbee went into the waters in Florida.
Oh, well,
right?
it happens, you know what I mean?
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
He tried to retrieve it.
Did he not?
There was actually an alligator warning in effect.
Whoa.
He's now died.
He is now lunch.
He's now lunch.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes, you know, those frisbees, it's a bit of plastic. Just let it go.
Well, 50 cents, something like that.
Yeah,
You could
something
buy
like
one. You could make one. Get a plate.
Ain't worth it.
It ain't worth it.
So,
No, well, it's too
but-
late to ask, tell him now.
There's been some genuine UFO sightings
There
this
has,
week.
there always is.
Obviously, we saw our UFO yesterday.
We did.
That was a legit
Yeah.
UFO.
Yeah.
Go over to Instagram if you want to see some photos. It's awesome.
good
See Taylor
pictures.
being beamed up.
Yeah, man.
So,
Liked
but
it.
apparently there's been so many UFO sightings over Tennessee.
Is that a busy port at the
They
minute?
must be all after the whiskey.
Oh, you would though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, maybe. What happened to that? You know, you could run your car off, like, you know, fermented out whiskies. We were talking about
Yeah.
it, like Scotland were thinking of doing it.
They've
weren't
actually
they? Byproducts.
changed the motors, haven't they? So you can't do that kind of stuff. That it only takes certain fuels now.
Well, a team of UFO shortly went out looking for unidentified flying objects. That phrase actually has only been coined since 1953.
Yeah.
Right. By the US government.
Yeah.
And it was just like basically a bucket term for unidentified sightings.
Yeah. It was supposed as well been deliberately done so it gets people thinking one thing, well, actually something else is going on.
Yeah. Well, they're basically saying, like, right, so what's this? Sightings going back to biblical times, right? So in the Bible book of Ezekiel, a mysterious ship described as appearing in the skies. Strange sightings were recorded over Rome in 218 BC. and a wave of mysterious sightings over the 4th century in China, when a moon boat.
Yeah,
we've done this as well, actually.
Yes,
was documented floating over the country.
Yeah.
Once every 12 years.
Yeah. There was a suggestion that it was something like Halley's Comet, and it just didn't equate to it.
But they reckon there's been a lot in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
Tennessee's the place to be at the minute.
So since the since it's around about 1974, there's been started to pick up over the the states.
Oh yeah.
Well, quite a lot over there, but like Tennessee in particular. So
yeah, they reckon now.
It's not really news, really, is it?
Well, yeah, because there's more and more people who are spotting these things, and more people who are asking the question.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not really news.
Good.
It's just like, it used to be a big thing. It's like you say, loads of UFOs spotted, and it'd be like a big thing. But now it's just like an everyday occurrence.
Well,
it's like
no, you'd be like
boring.
a weirdo.
But it's getting boring. Going, more UFOs have been seen. It's like, it's like me saying, there's a red car. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, but the thing is, red car, you know what it is. The UFO, you don't know what it is. You know what I mean? And we want to know what it is because it could
very well be
aliens.
Well, shocking viewers think that they spotted a UFO flying over the skies during the Jubilee celebrations.
Yeah, I like to see this picture.
Now, the Red Arrows usually do their fly past and do like a good aerial expedition.
Oh, always.
Did I say that right?
Yeah. Expedition.
And then expeditions like
it's where you go off somewhere and have a little travel.
So, what are they doing?
They're doing a flyby.
Oh, they did a flyby.
They did do a flyby, with a UFO.
When they're doing a exhibition.
Exhibition.
That's the one.
But
eagle-eyed social media users were convinced that they spotted a UFO flying over the skies during the Queen's Jubilee celebrations earlier this week.
I'll go check the news later.
During the flyby, so everyone's looking at the Red Arrows or whatever they're called. Was it accompanied by a UFO?
Well, it's the lizard people, isn't it? They want to come and visit, the Queen.
Take part in the celebrations, potentially.
Yeah.
Or is it something like I keep saying, are we just observers from the future coming back in time to observe historical events?
Well, wouldn't you expect, not just one UFO to turn up, but like thousands of them to go, whoa, look at that, man?
Not necessarily, because generally, it's like, look at what we do with, space travel now. It's only the very rich who get to go, and we get one or two every now and again. It's not like we've got
pictures
loads of them going up every day.
Yeah.
So I mean, if as that technology progresses and space, time travel starts to exist, then it'd only be like very few and far between, because you wouldn't want people going back and changing things. You'd only have to be able to go back in an observatory capacity. So
but the thing is, it is changing things.
It is, but it's in a sense that we might be able to see it, but we only have the explanation of UFO. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then on that case, a UFO, is an unidentified craft, possibly. Or it could be an airplane, an helicopter,
but you're focusing on the craft, right, itself, right? Whereas I'm focusing on what's in the craft and what their mission is, what's their objective.
Yeah.
So, are the people piloting these crafts? Are these crafts created on Earth? Are they created by humans? Have they got drives in that can bend time? Are they visiting previous times
in a dimension
and observing historical events, because that's where they always seem to turn up? And then we look up and go, we've seen something we can't explain. As a past person waiting for that science to catch up, to that science, then we just look at it and say, well, it was a UFO, we can't explain it. Then the whole UFO thing comes about, and but then there'll be a eureka moment where we all go, ha ha.
But I don't think.
It was us all along.
I don't think they're coming and observing certain times of great historical events, because
the Jubilee.
Yeah, but yesterday, the day before, the day before that, the day before that, the day before that. There was no significant stuff going on then.
How do you know what's significant or not?
Well, that's true. Personal.
How do you know? And again, this is again going back to just the narcissistic nature of humanity, where we assume that anything noteworthy that happens on this planet it's our doing, or we've done it, or it's an achievement of humanity.
True.
Whereas, if these aliens are coming to observe historical events, or if it is us from the future, who knows? Maybe it is aliens.
Still
or if it is,
to be answered.
then they could be coming and checking out something that has got nothing to do with humans in the slightest.
Yeah, it could be environmental.
Environmental.
Yeah.
it could be like do you know these plants that only flower once every fucking 20 years. Could be anything. It could be anything.
Yeah.
But
very
you decide as noteworthy isn't what they might decide as noteworthy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But then you've got to ask the question: why are we seeing more and more? It comes to me that because we're seeing more and more of it, is it the point that we're seeing them, or is it the point that there's actually more of them coming here?
Well, maybe a bit of both.
I think it is a bit of both, but I'm just glad that more and more people are observing and thinking, well, actually, what is this? It could affect us in the future.
People are woke, man. People are woke. That's what it is.
That's it, man. It's not plagues.
Well, I mean, still think there is a lot of kind of like silly stuff that I see, and I think that's silly.
The fakes, man.
That's a bit silly.
Yeah.
And all these bizarre, spiky kind of like objects found on Mars make me laugh, because I mean, a lot of the time it is just kind of like rock formations or like a bit of shadow, and a number of reasons. Just because you're not there to observe it from every angle in a three-dimensional space,
and it's only one picture,
and
if
it's
you
one
give me
picture,
several, then
you
I
can kind of maybe get a better judgment of it. But most of the time, it's like you say, one image, and it's shot on an angle that does look a bit funky, right? So, but more have occurred, more have come out. Bizarre spiky Mars rocks likened, formed by what's this? Erosions and ancient fractures.
Right, so it's just natural.
So this is natural stuff, but like, when you look at it, people are saying, it looks like trees, it looks like tree like
it's
tree,
like Christmas tree.
No, it's actually, they look like tree stumps.
Right, okay.
So imagine a tree with no tree bits on it, no leaves on it or branches, and it's just like a tree stump coming out of the ground.
Okay, what?
But quite tall,
Because there is a number of large objects been spotted on the Moon and Mars that they're saying monoliths, but
these look like, imagine Gandalf's cane, like that sort of thing sticking in the ground, like it is a
Never
tree.
Seen this cane.
all right. Well, you've seen Lord of the Rings. Come on. Well, you know what I'm saying. It looks like a tree sticking out of the ground, but with no tree on it. It looks like it's been there petrified. And I can see where the people come from, but I mean, now,
that's
like I say, these
erosion.
scientists are saying it's come from like fissures and cracks in the environment, which has created these.
That's a lot of erosion for like.
Well, it's been there millions of years.
Tall.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Curiosity rover spotted it. They are rocks on the 15th of May, and according to the raw images for the mission sent down to Earth, the images have obtained that it is basically Martian Day 3,474 on the mission, and the Curiosity speed towards completing its first decade of work on Mars.
Great.
On the August the 6th.
Just hope it keeps it up like Voyager. Carries on.
It'll keep smashing it. It'll keep doing it.
Hoping so until
it's
we
like
get there.
Exceed expectations.
Well,
that's what I expect from NASA.
Yeah. That's
exactly.
True.
I take that into our own mission statement. As well, have you got any NASA news?
Astronauts have detected a new radio signal of unknown origin.
Ooh.
So this is a brand new one.
Another one. Can they decode it? Do you know when they're getting these radio signals, can they kind of work out what they are? Because, I mean, a lot of them, they've had a few where they've kind of gone, oh, it's just like radiation or just like...
Yeah, it's like supernovas and stuff like that, or just, noise background of space. But for the last 2 years, there's been quite a number of new sounds that they've never heard before, and they're trying to calculate and work out what it could be
or where it's coming from.
Yeah,
I mean, space is big, isn't it? I mean, it's like
just a little.
Space is just unfathomably big.
Yeah.
So to work out where, you get a general direction where these signals are coming from, but I mean to work out where
they were
exactly.
This one. Yeah.
I mean, that's just a total fucking mindfuck, isn't it, I suppose?
Another galaxy known as NGC 2082. The signal was found in Australia, and it was found on May the 23rd. And yeah, so there's another signal. There's about, there's about
space
5 to 7 signals at the minute that they're trying to work out what the hell are they. They're not normal space signals, so hopefully might get a little signal from alien species, or it might be nothing.
It might be like the pop hits of their planet. You never know.
Hey, yeah. Well, we make noise out there.
I know, that's it. Well, why don't... I mean, obviously, if there are civilizations out there that are kind of as noisy as us, then maybe we can pick up some of their broadcasts.
Or they learn not to be so noisy and actually got a new...
They're very stealth.
Yeah,
maybe.
You never know.
I've got one last bit of NASA news before we close the show.
Yeah.
NASA have been tapped SpaceX for additional 5 more missions throughout 2030.
Good. Yeah. It looks like
they're doing bits, aren't they? I think this is it. It's like when you've got like fucking Bezos chomping at the bit.
I was just gonna say,
give us a mission.
Yeah.
Give us a mission. Oh, be best mate. Oh, just give us any mission. Didn't
he offer as much this time?
I'll just throw myself up into the air for a few times.
Yeah, just get on your dildo and fuck off. That's what you want to do.
Rocket.
Yeah.
It's like, please let me go to space. I'll give you $1 million. No. It's a Johnson.
It is a Johnson.
On his Johnson rocket. There you go, Bezos. Like I say, Elon Musk, he's smashing.
He's sky high at the minute.
He's got like fingers in all them pies.
He has. He's a pie
additional 5 more missions. What they are yet to be seen, but we'll find out and we'll let you know next time.
Well, yeah, and they will be more than likely probably important missions as well.
Like taking flying cars to Mars.
Yeah. Or new warp drive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It looks like.
Yeah, tell me about the warp drive, because I don't believe you still.
Yeah, I had to explain it before.
No, you didn't have to explain it. It sounded like he was making it up. Come on.
It's not. There's a paper out on it and everything.
Right,
so it's true. Right, well, warp drive is to be expected to work. They're going to get an atom and basically make it invisible.
Right. Is this by bashing the time crystals together?
No.
Well, is that something else?
Yeah, that time crystal thing was to do with this quantum computers. There's a thing called time crystals.
I'm sure time crystals are made up.
Yeah, no, it's the first time they've ever made time crystals.
Get the dilithium crystals.
Which is 3 atoms basically right next to
well, that's not that, right? So warp drives, right? So, warp drives, they make an atom invisible.
Yes, which is called a glow effect.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Which is a part of Stephen Hawking's theory of black holes.
Right.
Now, basically, what they want to do is make it invisible, which they're going to basically heat it up, make it like speed up on its axis, and it will...
It just sounds like, when you say, oh, what they're going to do is they're going to do this or they're going to do that. It's just like make an invisible black hole, and then you've got some military guy in the background going, how can we weaponize this?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like, what time gate.
Is it a time gate? Would you say that you could use it as a time gate?
Well, what they want to try and do he's trying. Yeah, he's
transport
basically
stuff from
so-
one place to another. I suppose.
Well,
yeah.
effectively, yeah, that's what trying.
I suppose. Well, that's it. Well, that's a Stargate, and if you control both sides of the Stargate,
Yeah,
then you
got
control of where you enter and exit. I suppose.
Yeah.
So that's interesting,
Well,
isn't it?
it's quite a difficult thing. I mean, I've written like a little bit of script.
Let me
on it,
have
but
a
it's
guess, right? Can
difficult.
I have a guess? So what did he do? They eat up an atom, yeah,
Yeah.
right, to probably ridiculous heats or temperatures, right, to
Yeah.
the point where all the other atoms around it start vibrating at a higher frequency, yeah, right, which makes the atom then disappear somewhere, yeah, right, no one knows where, but then all of a sudden it comes back, but it's invisible.
But no, it'd have to go invisible beforehand because it.
Well, that's maybe where it fucks off to.
But it simulates other particles around the atom to actually to change it to make it invisible to actually open up.
The Stargate.
Yeah, it's kind of
crazy stuff.
It's crazy. It's fucking.
Well, I'd love to have a go.
Yeah.
on
Well,
the
those who are
Stargate.
doing it, good luck and send
Send us a postcard
Yeah.
wherever you end up.
Yeah.
Could be another dimension for all we know.
Hey, yeah.
I'd be like, hey, wait a minute. I wasn't here. Well, you weren't here a minute ago. You're dead.
Yeah.
Or you could be anything. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, it could hit time.
Yeah.
Fine, you know what I mean?
Stop it. You're opening.
I'm opening floodgates here.
Floodgates in my mind.
Yeah.
Time crystals.
I know where to hit.
Right, well, that's the end of the show, I think.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed it, if you've got any comments, queries, or suggestions, you know what to do. You can email us or get in touch over social media.
Oh, yeah.
You can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com.
Come
Or
on.
go over to the website at neverstraightanswer.co.uk.
Yeah, come on, visit us and say
we've got lots of stuff
hello.
going on over there, so make sure you
Yeah.
check in.
Yeah. See our sexy pictures.
We're available on all podcast platforms.
We are.
I'm tripping over my words loads.
You are.
We're available on all podcast platforms. So wherever you get your podcast fix,
Go
you
and get
can
it.
go and get it there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that includes iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio,
Red Wall Radio.
yep, YouTube,
Yeah.
all them places,
All the best
all
places.
the places.
Yeah.
We
are there.
We're going to be back next week. Are we back next week? We're
no,
back next
we're not.
week.
No,
What?
it's the week after.
Will you stop cancelling the episode?
I'm sorry, mate. Work.
You
Sorry, Dave.
bellend. We're
Sorry.
not a bi-monthly, bi-weekly podcast. We're a weekly. I'm telling him.
I
I'm
know.
telling him off now in
He
front
is.
of everybody.
He
Yeah,
is.
right.
I got my head ashamed. Sorry, mate.
People are leaving.
Business is business. I'm sorry, stay because we may have little interruptions, but we are always coming back.
I'm there on a Saturday
Yeah.
night waiting.
Yeah,
to
twiggling
twiddle
his
my
thumbs.
Right.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
anyway, right.
Yeah.
We'll be back. Don't
Sorry,
worry.
Pete's. Yeah, we will be back
Um,
the week after, without a doubt.
Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you continue to subscribe.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because we are staying.
And we'll be back shortly. Well,
will.
I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
And we've been the Never a Straight Answer podcast. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Out. Yeah.